You were saying no way, but we were never listening anyway. So don't be just standing in the doorway. Don't you know we gotta hit the highway? Darling, this is gonna be a good day. And I've gotta say that I'm not bad myself, but you're amazing. You're amazing. One day I'll be looking back on this and I'll say, I'm so happy that you said you would stay. There were times I know that I was crazy, fraying at the edges and you saved me. I'm losing count of chances that you gave me. You're laughing at me dancing really badly and telling me the reasons why you'd gladly do it all again. Cause I'm not bad myself, but you're amazing. You're amazing. Oh, I'm not bad myself, but you're amazing. You're amazing. Well, hey, words can never adequately convey everything you're giving to me today. But holding you is better than a holiday, and leaving you I dread it like exam day. So at the risk of sounding kinda risque, everything to now has been the foreplay. Darling, I would follow you to Norway or anywhere you want it. Cause I'm not bad myself, but you're amazing. You're amazing. Oh, I'm not bad myself, but you're amazing. You're amazing. I'm not bad myself, but you're amazing. You're amazing. Oh, I'm not bad myself, but you're amazing. You're amazing. Oh, I'm not bad myself, but you're amazing. You're amazing. Oh, I'm not bad myself, but you're amazing. You're amazing. One day, when we're getting wrinkly and our hair's grey, a rusty old banger in the driveway, one of us will maybe wear a toupee, but I will be in love with you.
This is what we're doing every lesson, okay? Unmute yourself and ooh with us. Welcome, welcome everybody. Jessica's probably gonna join, and Nilsa is celebrating a wedding right now. And Richie, I love that you are together with two today. So you're gonna double learn. Is that cool? You're gonna double learn. Who are you? Who is sitting with Richie right now? Who are we meeting with?
Hey, I'm Penny.
You're what?
I'm Penny.
Penny! Welcome, Penny. So good that you're here with us. We're going to learn about storytelling, so that's going to be really, really exciting. And before we do, let's do a little bit of a quiz, because we've done now 3 lessons already. Richie, you weren't there yesterday, so let's just go through. Who would love to be interviewed by me? Okay, Richie, you go first on stuff we learned last week. Richie, by the way, what you can win is something really, really cool. It's what I call 10 points, and I always throw them at you. Okay, so let's practice. Imagine you would get 10 points, and I will throw them. You have to catch them. Yeah, there you go. That's what you can win, okay? So it's pretty cool. So, Richie, we talked about, by the way, Richie is now in front, but later it's both of you, like we will all go, and we're gonna help each other in the chat, okay? So we can cheat and we can help each other. This is how we do it. This is how we do. And yes, Monica's all the way from Hawaii. She is freaking awesome. She's here to support us in, I don't know what time. It's crazy early. So, Richie, We talked about transformational speaking. Now, knowing that transformational speaking is the level we want to go through, what amount of speakers do we have to get there? Like, how many types of speakers are there?
3 types of speakers.
3 types of speakers! That was correct. So which one are they?
Informational, educational speaker, motivational speaker, and transformational speaker.
Amazing! And in your own words, Richie, what is the difference? Like, how do we know that we are getting
So, an informational speaker, educational is somebody that's literally just doing that, right? Like providing some type of information, right? Like think about like going to school. That's how I put that, right? Motivational is somebody who's they're motivating somebody, like they're just having they're maybe getting somebody charged up. I like to use the analogy of like like in the hospitals when you hit them with the AKG, that you like boom, like you get them charged up and you're like, oh, okay, I'm ready, I'm excited, go. But that's short-lived. And then transformational, I think, is like when you come from your heart, right? Like when you connect to somebody on a deeper level and you're able to, transcend everything and just speak directly from your heart and touch their heart, right? That's how I see it.
That's super beautiful. And what you just did is more amazing than you might realize now, because we will talk more about stories today. And stories are experiences that you personally went through, right? But then you also have such a thing that we call in this community picture statements. Might be something you want to write down. Picture statement. Picture statements are basically connections of something that people can see, such as an ADD in a hospital, and you connect them to a meaning that you want to explain. For example, transformational speaking. So now you're connecting something that we already know to something that's new. What helps all of us to remember it better. Right? So what you're going to find in your story library later on is also amazing picture statements. Now, if you think, oh my God, this is an amazing picture statement that Richie used that I can use some other time with a different example, then write that example down too and store it in your story library after lesson, right? This is the way we want to think. An amazing other picture statement that one of my clients used explaining a solar car. It was like, it's kind of like the Tesla of the Netherlands, and it was in that stage way cooler than Tesla. Now I think Tesla's winning. But hey, Swellem. So what they said is, who knows, like these kind of cars. These are the like bodybuilders who would like to run a marathon. We are the athletes of the road. So now with that example, you immediately understand, okay, it's really fast car and it's really useful and it's energy consuming, instead of saying, okay, our car has micronutrient this and super aerodynamics, blah, 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 that we don't understand, right? So you're using pictures that people can see, so they associate a vision to new information. That's what a picture statement is. So well done. Does Richie reserve 10 points? Yeah, okay, it's coming to you. 3, 2, 1. All right. Who's next? Linda, I'm gonna interrogate you now. So we talked about stories. And my question to you. Oh, sorry, there's someone in the waiting room that should be here. Oh. Should be here in an hour. Sorry. So, we talked about stories. So stories, when I say that thing, stories, what pops up into your mind? Like, what are things when you download about stories, what all comes up based on what we already talked about? And this is for everybody, right? These are questions you want to reiterate because this is the foundation of everything we're talking about. And every time we're unfolding it in a deeper level. So stories, what comes to mind? Like what comes to mind when we're talking about stories?
Emotions, scene, uh, what was happening at the time,
Yep.
uh, what I felt, how it relates in my universe.
Yeah. Beautiful. And you get some cheats from the chat. Beautiful, Jamie.
Oh, I didn't even look. I'm not a chat person. So, but thank you, Jamie.
There you go. Now, this is beautiful. We're talking about a scene, right? It's a moment in time. It's not your whole story. It's Swellen just thinking, oh, grandma. Oh, I can think of a grandma. Oh, roller coaster. Oh, that's a specific roller coaster. Oh, moment at the beach while drinking while it was snowing, right? Not just sitting at the beach, sitting with a coffee while it was snowing. That creates a picture and that's so memorable that we will not forget it. Right? So what are the specific moments and what can you see there? Right? Sometimes this one detail can already create a whole picture, right? Maybe and I think I told this example before. It's like when you want to create when you want to open the window, what we talked about last time of generalizations, and you have loneliness versus man eating Tupperware a microwave meal,
Wait,
right? So the microwave, that specific word already creates a picture that associates old, that associates loneliness. Just one specific word already associates with a whole bucket of feelings and emotions that you can also tell your audience, but then it's really boring. So that's beautiful. So we have specificity, we have feelings, we have emotions, and what you said really well was how it is going to relate with other people. So it's not so much about you and your stories, it's about how is this story going to create a breakthrough for your audience and how is this going to be a vehicle of transformation. Now today we're going to talk about three buckets of different types of stories. So what you might want to do if you have a notepad and a pen is to draw 3 circles on a piece of paper right here, right now. You can also create some document with 1, 2, and 3, but if you're visual like me, it's nice to draw it. Who's ready with 3? Perfect. Okay, so because there are, let's scope out for a minute and see why we do public speaking to really increase the impact and income, right? Because you're not just here, and this fits with what Richie said in the transformational piece. You're not just here to share your message and then say, okay, pay me 1,000 and I'll come on your stage. That's doing yourself, your wallet, and your audience and the host a disservice, because who here believes that when people spend more time with you, they have a higher level of transformation? Beautiful. I love that everybody is saying that because that's totally true. So what we are doing as transformational speakers, we're saying, okay, we're coming to speak, and maybe you just want to get reps in and just do it for free, especially in the beginning, go, 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 go. But then you have an offer to share at the end. So you're asking people who would love to go next on this, and then you have an offer. Either wherever you are on the journey, there will be a free resource, there will be a discovery call, or there will be an offer, right? Again, also where you are with your journey on speaking, that can already be with a paid offer, because you can do both. You can get paid for speaking and do selling from stage. It really depends on the audience and the host. So that is what we're doing. So the goal that we have as transformational speakers is hitting people in the heart so they feel connected with us, because there's 2 types of people buy from. 2 types of people that people buy from. The first type of person is people who are just like themselves. And Richie is an amazing salesperson, he knows. People are just like themselves. The second type of people people buy from are people they aspire to be like. So when we know that people make a decision to buy, they want to buy it from people that either they feel connected with, they see some similarities, or they're like, oh, you're so cool, I want to be more of that. And we know that people want to buy when they feel seen, heard, and understood, when they know, like, and trust you, when they think, okay, this actually is what I need. This is actually where I'm going. And this is actually now that the time is right. Can we see that that is what people need in order for them to say yes to the next level, whether it's for free, whether it's paid, whether it's high ticket, whether it's low ticket, spending time and money on themselves, on their next level. And that's what we want to do while we are talking. While we are talking, we're bringing them for where they are now to their newer situation. So we already do all of that. You start to see how this makes sense also in the strategic sales process, that this is just not only about public speaking, but this is actually true transformation, because this gets people ready to say yes to you. And because it's not one-to-one, but one-to-many, you do this on a large scale. And what we're going to talk about today is how are you going to make sure that you pick your stories the right way, because you're still downloading them in your story library. And later on, we're going to make decisions in which stories are going to fit for the transformation you want to create. So how are you going to pick those stories in an elegant way? And today we're going to go through one lens, which is what I call the 3 C's. What do I call it? Oh, there's so many points. All of you were 100% correct. That's amazing. So the 3 C's. So on your piece of paper, you have 3 circles, and there's 3 C's in every single circle. And what we're going to do now, we're going to fill that circle, and you're going to do it for me first. You're not going to write it down for me, but we're doing the example together. And I told some stuff about myself. You all know me through different ways. So I think it's going to be fun to see what you know about me as a person. Because what we want is we want people to know who you are to make the next level decision. And we want the 3 perspectives. So the first C is credibility. We want people to know, I got your back. I can do this. I'm actually the perfect person to do so. So when I'm talking about emotions later, I want you to know that you're safe and you can feel the feels, because I actually know what I'm talking about. So when we're later on picking stories, we want to make sure that people at least feel that you are trustworthy to talk about this topic. So what are different scenes that you know about me personally that create credibility for me around public speaking? You can unmute yourself. I like it. We're such a small group, so.
You're a TEDx coach.
A TEDx coach. Okay, great. What else?
You coach at
That's it.
Mastermind Academy.
Mastermind Academy. So I'm teaching for Dean. He asked me, like, hey, Laurie, can you consult for me and my students for already regarding public speaking? That's pretty cool. What else?
A public speaking course.
I have a public speaking course, so I'm doing this for a bit. Yeah. Maybe some testimonials, maybe doing this for a long time. Go on, Swellen.
It's a very loved course.
It's a very
people
loved
love it.
course. Yeah,
Yeah.
so there's like the fan rate is really high. People are coming back, just like yourself, Swellen. It is now what, your 3rd time. Pretty cool. So testimonials, Monica, is there something you want to say?
Oh, yeah, Nick Santanasasso.
Nick Santanastasso, yeah. So I'm collaborating with Nick, and he is a speaker for Tony Robbins. So there's a lot of pieces, a lot of different scenes that create credibility. Now, later on, and this is going to be the fun part, when we are going to pick the stories that you want to check off the credibility piece, you already start to see that for me, there's like 6, 7, maybe, you know, when we're brainstorming even more, we can come up to more stuff that you might not know, and that's okay. So for every audience, I can think, okay, what credibility pieces do I want to add today? And sometimes it can just be with what I learned from coaching as a TEDx speakers coach, and there's already a credibility piece. And then I can just tell a scene of my life regarding that piece, but I check off the credibility. Does it make sense?
Mhm.
So later we're going to do a little download and you're going to think, okay, what are credibility pieces for me? Right? What are things that I went through that make me credible? And we want different scenes. So it could be a testimonial of one of your clients, and you make that into a story, and that's going to be added to your story library. It could be, I went through this. A credibility piece for me could also be, and maybe some of you heard the story. I love it because it's really what happened and it's so vivid, you know. When I was little, when I was 4 years old, I went to school for the first time, and I was so terrified that me and my mom would go to my school before summer. We would take pictures of our teachers so I could look at their face for 6 weeks so I felt comfortable enough. You know, that's a transformation too. Yeah, that's also credibility. I've been there. Now I'm here. How the freak hell did she do that? Well, that's what I'm teaching, right? So it doesn't always have to be a TEDx or this or that. Maybe it's a certificate. Maybe it's something you helped one person with, and maybe that one person is yourself, right? So what are your credibility pieces? What are your different ways of checking that box of credibility? Make sense? All right. So step number 2. Step number 2 is community. Community. People want to know, we can trust this person. So with what kind of people are you hanging out? And people buy from people who are just like them. So what communities are you part of? Are those communities that I am part of as well? What people are you hanging out with? So based on what you know, what communities am I part of?
Dean,
Dean,
Yep.
Tony,
Tony,
Very amazing. What other communities can we think of? What I'm thinking of when I think of the community piece, yeah, you go, Swanna.
this community,
This community, yes, absolutely. From the public
that's
speaking
the amazing
community.
one.
What else? We go a little outside the box here. What about family?
Your grandma.
Yes, very good, very good. I often use that story because what does that story say when I talk about my grandma? I'm 27 years old, I have my own business, I'm flying all around, but I'm chilling with my grandma. What associates
Values.
values, right? So I don't have to say, hey, you guys, I'm Lori. I'm a public speaking coach. I know it's something you are afraid of because every single person is in their own specific, unique way. I am too. That's why we're human. That's why we're all in this experience. Now, I'm going to tell you, and you can trust me. You can just trust me with all your emotion. I can say that. But I can also say, I'm chilling with my grandma. And then I'm strategically picking other stories to check off different boxes that we're going to go through. So I'm creating that feeling. So I'm showing it with examples while they're learning different things about me. And that's what we're going to learn later on, is that some stories overlap. And now it's going to be interesting and strategic, and you're going to be more and more specific. That's where it gets so fun. So what other communities? Grandma, Dean, Tony, other things?
You talk about your family in general a lot.
Yeah, absolutely.
People
Family.
you meet at the pool.
Yes, very good. Very good. Very good. So now it starts to become okay, because now, and we're going to get to the third C in a bit, now you're knowing pool. I've been like a super competitive swimmer. People at the Olympics, they were my teammates. You know, that's something I often don't tell because I'm sometimes choosing other pieces, but that's what does high endurance sport associate, right?
Mental toughness.
Yeah.
Right? And maybe,
Livelihood, strength. Yeah.
Discipline.
yes. So could it
Discipline.
be that when you want to work with a coach and you know that they're disciplined and they have values and they have their determination and they go through when it's hard, because it is hard, but that they won't leave you because they've done it before. You don't have to say, hey, this you can trust me because you just say swimming, high endurance swimming. Olympic, like high competitive level, you know. What else we want to say? Yes, and this becomes really interesting, Jamie, with what you're saying. This becomes recent. So what I really loved about what you shared the other day is when you had your event for 8 people, you made a story, you create a story that actually happened that week. Now, what happens is when you're a motivational speaker, you have your amazing script, and you went to a coach and you created this one amazing script, and you're repeating yourself every time you get on stage because that's the thing you learned. What you're learning is way more valuable. You're learning how to distract stories out of life. So now when you go through an experience that specific week, for example, Monica's now in Maui. Do we think that she could, if I give her like the next 30 minutes, could tell stories about from yesterday to today and different scenes that what she experienced? I see her eyes. I think she can. I think we would all agree, right? But the beauty is when you're able to distract like a moment that just happened, it says so much about you as a human being because it becomes real and people feel that. They feel part of you now. And that's what we want because now they're in our world. They're part of us in the now. So that's absolutely amazing. So yeah, we have people around the pool, family, grandma specific, Dean, Tony. Who of you knows that I actually lived with Monica for 7 months? Because she is so amazing. Oh, everybody, I told this so many times apparently. But that's also your community, right? So there's all different pieces and you want to just create the lifestyle. You want to share who you are. And through your different scenes, you're gonna share more of a picture. And there's a third level, right? So the third C is what I call coolness. Coolness. Coolness can also, and I love this because Linda actually heard this through a free webinar, and I am still touched by Linda's breakthrough when she said, Lori, I found out I'm cool. I didn't know this about myself, but I am. And I'm like, you so are, Linda, and every single one of you. Maybe the word coolness doesn't really immediately resonate. Some people are a bit afraid to be cool, but memorable, unique, special, you know, something about you that no one has. And for me, I will start with the first example and then I want to hear from you guys just to understand how this works. The first one could be the Netherlands. You know, if I'm not in the Netherlands, that is absolutely super cool. It's very unique. So when I say, when I was a Dutch swimmer, you know, in just 2 sentences, I'm already creating so many associations. So what other unique things do you know about me? Very specific. The more weird, the better. Let's see what I told you all.
Crew.
Crew?
You crew Tony Robbins events.
I crew Tony Robbins events. Great. What else? You don't know squat about me. What's going on?
You're a digital nomad.
Digital nomad. Very good. Yeah, so traveling. Very
Digital nomad. You're a cool team leader.
a cool team leader. Okay, great.
And you speak great.
I speak great. Right? Swimming could be one of them.
Swimming.
Swimming could be some uniqueness, right? It could already be something like this. It can also be, Monica, you go. You know me, you know me. Come on now, what's unique about me? Random things, you know, like the random... I always love to eat yogurt in the morning, which is so apparently not normal for so many people. Jamie.
You don't like to wear dresses. At least
I-
you used to not.
I used to not wear dresses. Absolutely. That's a really good one. Very good. What else?
But you did
You
on your
live in Tenerife.
27th birthday.
I did, and I looked amazing.
You have a cool hat.
I have a cool hat. It is true. And now, because now we're starting to kind of like squirrel a little bit, like in a perfect way. Because I am like a girl who loves hats. Like I love it. Like some love dresses, some love purses, some love heels. I love hats. I love it. You know, and now you can create like the story around hats. Now this becomes a theme, but you will never forget it. You know, it's so memorable and it's true. So what else? Monica, you wanted to add one?
You just picked an arbitrary place to live like Tenerife and just moved there.
Yep, yeah, so I just decided, you know what? I just want to live abroad, and I looked at Google Maps and I thought Google Image looks great. And I just booked a ticket. And there's so many different super small stories. What we did last week when you just grabbed an object, you know, that is also, it says something about you. What was so cool about Richie is that he had like a unicorn, right? I will never forget that. Why? It was memorable and he shared something personal. You know, those things are so cool. So now you want to think around yourself. Like, what are pieces that are adding to my credibility piece? What is my community about? And what is my coolness? And I would love to take now like 2 minutes to fill in the coolness piece with everybody. I know. I saw you, Jamie. You're like, I don't know what it is. And that's why we're doing it together. So we're taking 2 minutes. I'm gonna put on one crazy song. By the way, I am an interesting DJ. This is also a fun fact about me. Monica calls this Dutch happy pop, which is totally not true. I just love it when it's like nice and vibey. If you at some point, Laurie, your music style is very interesting. There's always room for recommendations in our WhatsApp group, okay? So if you're like, what is going on?
Tell your soul to me. I will never let go completely. One day our hands will be strong enough to hold me. I might not be there for all your battles, but you'll win them eventually. I pray that I'm giving you all that matters. So one day you'll say to me, I love my life. I am powerful. I am beautiful. I am free. I love my life. I am wonderful.
Wonderful.
I am magical. I am me. I love my life. I am not my mistakes, and God knows I've made a few. I started to question the angels, and the answer they gave was you. I cannot promise there won't be sadness. I wish I could take it from you, but you'll find the courage to face the madness and sing it because it's true. I love my life. I am powerful.
One of the people who went through this recognize that she needs for all of her clients. They do not recognize create a rap video when you were younger. Unique about you.
I am powerful, I am beautiful, I am free, I love my life. I am wonderful, I am magical, I am me, I love my
That you want to write at least two
powerful, I am beautiful, I am free, I love my
Robert Williams. Da-da-da-da. All right. Who got some cool stuff? There were like hesitating hands. I want to hear about it. Swellen, you were first. What's cool about you? Brag about yourself. What's so cool about you? Wait.
I'm already,
1 sec. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm so excited that you all came to this coolness bragging competition. We are going to brag about ourselves like there's no tomorrow. You can only go through next round when other people are like, and I want to see it. Like when you're like, this is so cool. I want to see it in your face, okay? So when someone else is telling something and you're like, wow, that's cool. You're like, oh, but like very exaggerated. Practice it together. Come on. Oh, this is like a 6. I want at least an 8 in the next one. 3, 2, 1. And now I want a 10. A 10. Okay, this is all right. This is all right. So, welcome everybody. In our coolness competition, there is an amazing speaker. She is spotlighted now for everybody because she deserves the stage. It's our very own Swellen. Swellen, please brag about yourself. We'll be amazing.
so I have trained a wolf.
She's trained a wolf, ladies and gentlemen. What?
When I was 8 years old, I won a ice skating competition and I fell down in the middle of it, got up, and I beeline past everybody because I was going to win. I love horseback riding. I love swimming, camping. And when I was 24, I had moved 12 times in my life.
Wow.
Across the ocean. You guys are funny. I lived in Germany, the USA. I speak 3 languages. And I come from the heart. I'm very calm, very caring, loyal. I love yogurt too. And that's all I have.
That's amazing. Big round of applause for you, Swellen. That was incredible. Okay, so now before we go to the next bragger of this group, please unmute all of you and share first what new associations on a feeling level of Swellen's personality you now make up in your mind, because I ask you to, based on what she just said. She didn't say, oh, I'm courageous because I trained a wolf when I was 8. It's like, what? You trained a wolf here? I'm so curious to learn more. Who would love to hear that story? Okay, great. What associations of her personality, Richie?
Yeah, I was gonna say what you just said about the wolf, like that to me, an 8-year-old training a wolf, like what?
Oh, ice skating when I trained the wolf 3 years ago. It was a wolf dog, but he looked so much like a wolf that I'm gonna have to get the picture out. It was my dog, but
Oh wow.
go
Okay.
ahead. I didn't want to interrupt you guys.
Yeah, but I mean, still, I would at any age training a wolf, like I think it's super cool. So
Yeah. Absolutely. So what association did you have with it? Courageous?
yes, courageous. I think courage. I think it was, brave. I think strength.
Wow, there's the wolf.
Yeah.
Go ahead. I'm listening.
So
I love it. I love it.
Yeah, keep it coming. Keep it coming. Don't interrupt when people give you compliments. Yeah.
Comment here. I don't know if you guys can see this.
So there's a
I can
lot
put
of there's a lot of
Can you-
amazing associations now to you, Swellen. Now let me ask another question to Jamie. Jamie, were there any specific parts of Swellen's story that you thought, I have that too, or I had that too, or you went, okay, go on.
Well, I actually wrote down that I rode horses as a kid. I rode for like 7 years, competitive, loved it. So related to you on that, definitely moved a ton, but more in my 20s. So definitely some
This is interesting, right?
different.
Because
Yes.
when we use specificities, we can think, oh my God, that's me too. Who loves horseback riding? I certainly don't. I have no
Me too.
idea, right? So
Oh.
I would not have an emotional spark there, but you all do. But I have it with yogurt.
Yes. Frozen yogurt or regular?
So, so everybody
Any
has their
yogurt.
own emotional connections. So more specificities you use, the more you engage everybody. Does it make sense? So it's
Yeah.
not just about amazing storytelling. It's also using specific pieces that will resonate with specific audiences while checking the box on, and this is what I did not tell you yet, but I will add now, is people make decisions based on logic, but they decide on an emotional level. And with these 3 C's, you're checking off both boxes. You're telling what you're credible for and what the results is and blah, blah, blah. But you're also sharing some human juice. And that combination is what magnetizes. So, Linda, what are you... what from Swellen's story are you like, okay, I want to hear more of that? Not that we're doing that now, but what created an interest within you? It's like, wow, that was just...
Traveling,
Hmm?
where to learn more about where she's traveled to and how she's ended up traveling to all these places.
Wow. So let's just imagine that Swellen has a now and a new, and later on, she's now adding all stories to her story library. Now, because of this lesson, she's like, oh my God, I forgot about the roller skating, and I'm certainly going to add a scene from that, and I'm certainly horseback riding. And now I heard that different countries is interesting. So now can I look through the lens of what different stories do I have in different countries? And now, what's so beautiful about this, for all of you, by the way, is so many stories are saved in your unconscious. But when you have a specific direction, they will pop up again. And now
Mhm.
you store them. So now you don't have to save them all the time. And you don't need to think, oh, now I'm not in the mood to create new, I don't have creativity, but tomorrow I have this talk. And then you're calling me with anxiety through the roof. It's like, Lori, I'm so afraid of speaking. No, you just did not prepare. So now we're preparing in a way that's actually helping you to don't rely on your mood because you have the ingredients. Does it make sense? Are you getting super excited because you don't need to be so full of anxiety because you're actually a transformational speaker, which 95% of the speakers don't understand. I'm telling you, when you know all of this and you're listening to other speakers, you're like, I know what to do when you're doing this. There's no credibility piece. There's no community piece. It's just about your credibility. It's just about your community. So now you start to see how to make decisions later on. So let's just imagine again, Swellen has the now and the new, and she wants to bring people on the transformation. She already wrote it down in her form, but she also knows I don't need to be perfect because every time I do it, I have new thoughts that I'm hearing from the audience, that I'm integrating in the story, and I'm downloading it on the transformational sheet for the now and the new, and the questions that people ask themselves, and it just becomes broader and broader. Now she's about to pick some stories. Could it be, just hypothetically, it's not a right or wrong, I just want to show you some examples, that she tells a story where she was, for example, in one country while she was younger, while she had an interesting hobby. And then when she brings it to the new, she has a story about another country of a credibility piece where she achieved something great. So now she has multiple angles of all the 3 elements, and she's bringing people in the transformation. Do we start to see that these different things make sense when you combine them? And on itself, they're quite easy, but when they're coming together, you don't know how to look. It's really overwhelming. But when you know exactly where to look through, you're like, oh, but now I can see where the gaps are, because we can simply look through these lenses. This is incredible. We have time for one more bragger. I actually would love. Oh, Linda was fast. Linda, are you okay if I choose Jamie for this? Because Jamie was a little like, she was like,
Okay.
I don't know if I have, I saw it in your eyes, Jamie. I want to hear you brag. There you go. Your background is already starting.
How did you do that?
So Welcome everybody to this amazing session. 3,000 people are listening right now. Jamie came all the way. She's in person with us. She's the expert on health, holistic transformation. I know Jamie personally. I know that she really cares. So I'm stoked for you all to listen to Jamie. 1 minute of bragging. There we go.
My coolness. Well, we'll start because I'm a total nerd. So I love to read and I love to nerd out on all things health and wellness and personal development. It's like my jam. I can never decide between the two. So I've decided to marry the two. I rode horses as a kid, absolutely loved that, but I quit because I didn't like the dirt, which is still pretty true. I had a baby in public at a baseball game. I used to hate to exercise, but now that's what I do for a living or help people do for a living. I am an awesome cook. I'm a published author and I am an extroverted introvert. So I genuinely get my energy from being alone and have to regularly recharge. And I've been on TV multiple times.
Wow. Do you see the faces, by the way, Jamie? Because when we practiced, it was funny, but now people are like, you
I actually couldn't see. I had closed that part. I forgot it was not there. I was just
you had
looking
a
at my
baby
paper.
in public. You know, we're gonna have a vote on the most memorable part of this. But before we do, I want to ask you a question. Is there a specific dish? Because you're an amazing cook, and I love that in people around me. I love to eat. So when you say I'm an amazing cook, what specific dish is your specialty?
I don't have a specialty, I can't say, because I love to eat super healthy, but I love to make like really good food for other people. So I will make like amazing Mexican food and Italian or Indian. I don't have a special dish. Well, my in-laws would say my salad dressing is my specialty, but that's not cooking. But
Okay,
that's what they
okay.
say.
Can you literally say that sentence again? My in-laws don't
My-
think it's a special dish. It is salad with a dressing, but I don't think that's real cooking. Just that sentence alone. Let's boil it down together because this is where the magic lies. What is that one sentence doing? Now, Linda, you go. What is that one sentence doing? That one sentence. My in-laws would say my special dish about me cooking amazingly is salad with dressing, but I don't think that's real cooking.
What would that say about Jamie?
What are we learning from just that one or two sentences? Based on what we're learning today with the 3 C's. I'm gonna
That whatever she cooks is good or puts together.
Yes, indeed. Very well done. So with that specific sentence, she's already saying, I love cooking and I'm great. Now, what does the word in-laws associate, Linda?
Family.
Family. So now her in-laws have an opinion about her cooking style, which for me associates a close bond, or at least an interesting bond. There's a bond, right? So community is already kind of covered just by the word in-laws. Now, when you make it specific, because when I'm hearing Mexican food, I am not able to grasp a picture really quickly. When you say tacos with extra cheese, I see it. I can hear it, I feel it, I smell it. When you say salad with a dressing, we can see that, right? So do we start to see that when you tell stories, there's a lot of different reasons why we do that, and there's a lot of different, what I call lenses to look through. So we have one lens, that's, for example, we talked a little bit about it yesterday, the specificity versus broad, lonely versus microwave meal, salad or tacos with cheese versus food, right? What I loved being specific was I love sports, but I don't like the dirt. Like, I'm curious, if I would ask you a question, which I will, you don't have to answer it, but this is just for yourself, is there one specific moment where you maybe fell off the horse and you were really dirty? That specific scene will say that. And that specific scene will tell you love sports, you love nature, you also speak up when you don't like something. Which, can we agree that being clear as a coach really is a value, right?
Yeah.
And now you start to share your personality. And you're not saying, hey, I'm Jamie and I am la 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 la. No, you're sharing it through stories. Through stories, people are going to get to know you even more. And that's what we want, because people buy from people who are just like us. Or level 2, people they aspire to
Be
B.
like,
be like. Correct. So what you learn now is there's multiple ways of looking at stories, and we're still in the phase where we want to add more to our story library. Now, who already started using the template of Notion? Linda? Linda, while I'm talking, are you able to pull it up? Because before we start tapping, I really want to show you live.
Okay, so I need to share my screen, correct? So you can see it?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go back and do this the right way.
And then we're going to see how this is going to be stored in the story library. If it doesn't work for you, Linda, don't feel pressured now. If it does, I will use yours because you took the action, so I want to help you with it, and then everybody can see it. Otherwise, I will do it with my own story library and show it in my way, how the stories that I heard today would be saved on a story library, and why it's so incredibly useful, and why you want to keep downloading these stories. So when, for example, Richie, you said like the ADD in a hospital, I'm like, oh my God, man, that's incredible. That's a really good way. And I love to hear it, because now you create a new association. I'm certainly going to write it down. That was amazing. So what I want all of you to think of every time you have a lecture, every time you have a lesson, every time you have a training, every time you read a book and you read a picture statement that you're like, whoa, this is so smart. Maybe 20% of my story library is from books I read, because I thought, whoa, this is such a good example. And I write down the book, I make a picture of the page, and then I write my own thoughts. So when I refer to it, I can actually refer where I got it from if I want to. And I don't have to think of all these things alone, because if you have to think all from scratch, when they call you up and say, Jamie, do you want to come to do a keynote? And then you have to say yes, because you're an impact maker. So now you kind of created that association. And then you have to think from scratch, what am I going to say? Instead, you're going to create your now versus your new. You're downloading every thought that an audience could go through. And then later you're going to pick the right stories and you're going to create it into one masterpiece. That's what we're doing over here. So Linda, is it working for you to share your screen, or would you
I
rather
don't think so. Yeah, we're gonna have to use yours because this
Perfect.
is one of those things that I'm still learning.
That's okay. I love that you use that language though. It's very growth oriented. So I love that. So I'm going to
It
share.
wasn't originally growth oriented. Trust me, there were a lot of other explanatives used when I was dealing with computers in the past.
And now you don't. So that's amazing. So let me share my screen with you over here. Oh. There we go. So this is the story library. Okay, so on this side, we see all different kind of stories. I actually, very lately, I came up with another example of my own life where I was not speaking up. I just had to think about it, because now I'm back in the Netherlands. And this is actually, now I'm thinking of it, a really coolness about me as well, is I worked 5 years in a supermarket and I loved it. I actually at some point thought I'm going to be a supermarket manager for the rest of my life. And I actually did all the courses and I had all the check marks, and I honestly think if I still go back to the supermarket, they would still love to give me the opportunity. And I really loved it. Okay, so, but there was a point where I was not a almost supermarket manager yet, and I was just the person behind the cashier, and I was scanning cucumbers and milk and all those things. For me, it was fascinating because you're learning human psychology while looking at what people would buy. And at some point I would memorize them and what they were buying. And maybe that's where my fascination of dietitian came from. Like, there is a pattern that I'm seeing with what people buy every week and how they look. Anyways, what I came up with is a story, because in the Netherlands, and I'll keep it short, in the Netherlands, there's a rule that if you want to buy alcohol, it's not allowed for people under 18 years old. I think that's quite similar with other countries, yet we have to ask ID for people who are 25 years or younger. And if we don't ask a person who's 24 years old, yet they're allowed to bring alcohol, but we don't ask the ID, we're still not doing our job. So can we imagine that it's really hard for a 16-year-old to see if someone is 24 or maybe 32, and if you're 32 and get asked by a 16-year-old to show your ID is very embarrassing for some. Some see it as a compliment, some don't. So what you can see here is I came up with it again because I'm in the Netherlands and I went to the supermarket. I'm like, oh, now I remember, I was so uncomfortable here. And now I saved it because I remembered it. It's not that I'm thinking, oh, I have a speech to write. What story? Oh, about the supermarket. No, I forgot about it. Totally forgot about it. So now I write here, working in AHA, which is the name of the supermarket, and speaking up. The reason for that title is that I remember what I mean with it. It's not that you understand it. It's my story library. It's my stories. It's also not that it's perfectly hooked, whatever. It's just for you when you scroll through to think, ah, I remember now. So I click on it and then it opens, okay? I have the title over here and then I write down a teaching point. The goal of the teaching point is to write down, what is my point of this story? So my point is, what has not speaking up cost you already? Perfect. So the point of this story that I have now in my mind is, what is public speaking already cost you? But we already learned that we can use stories for multiple angles. Can we agree? Perfect. So this is just to help myself. When I open it, I don't have to think again. And then the story points are for me to remember the story. Okay, I was working in the Albert Heijn and I loved it. I was scanning products, needed to check if they're 18-year-old or didn't check because I didn't dare. And that was the point. I, on some point, saw someone, I'm like, oh, he could be 24, but he looks so tough. I'm afraid that he will be angry at me when I ask it and he's way older. And then it actually turned out to be like a control. So I got like, Lori, I'm like, oh, and I was so embarrassed and so shameful because I didn't dare, because I was afraid of his response, even though I wanted to ask. So when they said you failed your test, I immediately knew who it was. So that was for me a beautiful example, a beautiful story for me to say, okay, what moments did you not speak up? Well, you did want to. What had this cost you? Because, and this is what I'm not telling now, but the rule was in the supermarket, because it was so important that if a supermarket would fail 3 times, they would get all the alcohol out of the store. Now, if you have an idea how much profit goes on in alcohol in a store, and if you're one of those 3, you don't like it. You don't like it. So there was a big consequence for me emotionally if I just had more confidence to just say what I actually thought in that moment was right. So this is how I store those stories. So now you all came up with amazing coolness ideas. And I bet, and I just want to see if I'm right, that thinking about your coolness, creating more thoughts about different stories that you can tell, right? So what your next step is for the people who did not use the template is to use that template to create your own Notion account. There's a whole example of how to do it that I shared in the YouTube, but it's also now in the edit course that you're all getting access to. Okay, so if you're not able to find it for whatsoever reason, put it in our WhatsApp group so we as a team can come up with a solution so you create your Notion. Cool? Super, 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 super. So for this week, before we start the tapping, what I would love to see from every single one of you is a breakthrough video. What happened for you today, or if you didn't do it yesterday, this week, where you learned, or what was your biggest breakthrough and what did you learn? The reason for that, I said it last time, is not only because you're anchored in for yourself and you're actually downloading what you learned. Second is you're able to look through later on what you learned, but also how you told it. You will see that your way of telling will change over these weeks, and it's beautiful to see that transformation in real life through videos. And your breakthrough might actually inspire someone else, because every single one of you has a different lens of the world, has a different way of listening. And that's what we just uncovered. Everybody has different connections with different points. And so in these classes, some of you might totally still be at like, oh my God, this one sentence that she said, and you're in your internal world and you're having this whole dialogue with yourself while I keep talking. And some of you are maybe like more in like line with the examples. So your breakthroughs will inspire other people to re-anchor today's lesson. Breakthrough video, keep adding to your Notion page and keep downloading the stuff for the now and the new, because this is a continuous journey. Any questions whatsoever before we start tapping stuff out? No? We're gonna do actually one quick round before we start. One word of today. How would you like summarize today in one word? Popcorn style. So when you feel you need to pop, you just say it.
Amazing.
Amazing. Fun.
Clarity.
Clarity. Beautiful. And Swan is on the phone, so she is like,
I gotta
she's
go.
double doing stuff. All right. For everybody at Hard Stop at 6, we love you. Let's step it out for the last couple of minutes with Monica.
All right. Well, let's start tapping. So part of what I heard in today's lesson is that we're doing what I'm going to call an identity upgrade. As a transformational speaker, part of what we need to really, really embody and get is that I'm cool, I'm credible, and my stories matter, and that I love creating connections. So I was just listening for some of the places where I felt some churn energetically as people were listening. Like, what if it's possible that I'm cool? Am I really cool? What if I'm not that credible? And what I found is that as I was listening, as a transformational speaker, I'm just going to go over some of my notes. I am here to be seen and heard and understood. And my clients want to be, and my audience want to be seen, heard, and understood. I am safe being known and liked and trusted. And my audience wants to know, like, and trust me. I know when the time is right for telling the stories and speaking in front of different audiences because they're asking. And I know how to help people move from the new to the now because this is my journey. I'm the one who keeps moving from the now to the new. I'm actually transforming myself. And as I transform myself, I'm actually learning the very process of helping other people on their transformational journey. So I don't have to be perfect. I don't have to be super cool, but I am cool. I'm actually pretty cool. I am the right person for the audiences I'm here to serve. I have the stories that are going to land because, you know what, we're all humans and most of us have stories. My storytelling coach had a very interesting saying, Boeson. He said, the more personal it is, the more universal it is. Your stories of growth, your stories of challenge, your stories of coldness, your stories of credibility are what connect people to you. So what if it's possible? And then tapping on the underneath the eyes for what are the fears? What if it's possible that I'm actually really cool? And like I said to yesterday, Sue Ellen, oh, she just left. Sue Ellen is a real badass, by the way. And that's kind of the identity that I have helped her language. And what if it's possible that I actually already am cool and that I know how to connect? And I come from the right community. I know how to create community. And then tapping on your heart, because yeah, I'm here to be seen and heard and understood. And all my clients want that. I'm doing the work to be known, and I'm actually safe being known. I'm actually safe being liked. Not everybody feels safe being liked. I'm actually safe being trusted. And what if it's possible that even if I've had places where I've fallen down and not been trustworthy to myself or kept my word, what if it's possible that I am here transforming myself and learning the journey so that I am able to be trusted, both for myself and by my listeners, by my audiences, by my clients. And then tapping on your crown, taking a big breath and just thinking, I'm in this journey, becoming a transformational speaker. This is my identity now. I have stories that matter. I have stories that people will listen to. I'll have stories that people will go, what? I don't get it. But yet out of my own story library, I'm able to create scenes in people's minds where they're able to see me. And you know what? I'm here to be seen. I'm here to be heard. I'm here to be known. I'm here to be loved. I'm here to be big. And then tapping on your fingertips. And that is the identity of being a transformational speaker, is your own journey, your own process. As you become this is what you get to model for your clients and for your audiences over this journey together, which is for this time in this small community, and then for the rest of your life with the communities that you're creating. But taking a breath, being able to have gratitude anytime there's any kind of fear, any issues around connection, community, and coolness and credibility. Just allowing yourself to know you're on your own journey, and everybody else who you're here to help with your big heart and your big message on your path and purpose. Know that you've got this. And back to you, Lori.
This is way of compounding energy run through. So when people are asking you, let's go, you're letting go, consciously and unconsciously. So you don't have to completely understand it. Monica will do a longer session a little later to really fully explain it and go through it. You're going to go through all of it for now. Record that video, fill in your story library, and remember that you are cool. Just think about it a couple of times, like, I'm freaking cool. I am. I'm cool. And yes, you are. So we're going to see each other next Wednesday. In the meantime, and I said this yesterday for you again, Richie, if you have wins to share between week to week, or questions you have maybe tomorrow whatsoever, the groups app is where we are there for you every single day of the week. Okay? See you next week, you all.
Bye, everybody.
It-
Aloha.